driving instructor. I teach adults, I teach teens, but the focus is today is on us, adults. Number one, increase independency. No one wants to be a burden. When I was learning how to drive, my dad and mom were in their late 30s, early 40s. I had one opportunity to learn how to drive. That was through our driver's ed program at our local high school. We had to get up very early in the morning. My dad would drop me off. I had to be there 6 in the morning. We had an hour in the lab and then an hour behind the wheel driving the car on the range. There were 4 or 5 stop signs. There were 2 people in the car. There was a second brake. So that taught me to be independent because eventually, like my mom and dad always said, we won't be here forever. You need to learn how to drive as soon as you can. And that taught me independence. Number 2, job opportunities. I didn't know it at the time, but when I got my license around 16, a job came through, the YMCA. Also working at a bus terminal. Little did I know then, I was starting to develop a passion for cars, for learning how to drive, for learning how to work on things. That started at 16. I'm in my 40s now. So many jobs require a valid driver's license or the ability to travel independently. The second part of my journey, I'm thinking about Uber, I'm thinking about Lyft, I'm thinking about actually teaching adults how to drive, but with a Tesla, where I could charge up at home, we can make videos showing my adult clients what you need to work on, getting them into an online counseling session, then sending them the videos when they're done, and to help them from learning how to drive, getting them to the Secretary of State, helping them with the road test, and if they need to use the vehicle, get them to the road test. That's one of the biggest barriers of entry that I see. There are a lot of people who want to learn how to drive, but they don't have a car, or they don't have a method to get to the Secretary of State. Number 3, access to education. My mom and dad were strong believers in education. Both of the parents were from Alabama. They came up during the Great Migration. My dad's parents were from Alabama. Then they moved up to Twinsburg, Ohio. So early on, when my brother and I were younger, my dad would always drive down to Alabama with us. He would drive a lot to Twinsburg, Ohio, to show us, I want you to meet your grandmother. I want you to see my brother. I want you to see my sister. So as a young kid, I remember my dad driving to Ohio, right? Taking great pride in to see his grandmother, to see his grandfather. Okay, and they had a big farm, about 30 acres. I remember the tractor out front. So access to schools, colleges, training programs. There are a lot of training programs for adults, but you got to be able to get there. It might be 3 times a week, 10:30 in the morning. Yes, you could always take the bus, but the bus is not always reliable. Next, convenience. No one wants to be a burden. I don't want to be a burden on my son or daughter. I don't want to be a burden on my wife. My wife does not want to be a burden on me. My daughter does not want to be a burden on me. My son does not want to be a burden on me. Each of our kids does drive. They have their own car. It is responsibility because we have to do maintenance, brakes, tires, oil changes. So there's a responsibility once you have that convenience of going to the store, of going to run errands, of attending appointments without time constraints, getting your teeth done, going to a doctor's appointment. Those things are really important as you get older. When you're 14 to 25, you're not really worried about doctor's appointments because you're in good shape. But as you can hit 27, 29, 30, up, your blood pressure's going up, your cholesterol's going up. Whoa, you need to get on a Ozempic. So you have to be able to make those doctor's appointments. Emergency situations, that was one of my biggest concerns as a young kid. What if my mom gets sick and I have to take her to the hospital? What if my dad gets hurt? What if my brother gets hurt? I'm gonna have to be the man of the house because it's just my brother and I. So that was always a consideration when I wanted to learn how to drive because I always wanted to be prepared in case someone got hurt in the home. So, a quick response to emergencies, driving someone to the hospital. Next, family responsibilities. You want to be able to transport children to and from school, extracurricular activities, appointments. And when I talk to a lot of adults, they want to be able to pick up their kids, take them to a football game, basketball camp, football camp. But you have to have transportation to get your son or daughter to these camps. These camps are $50. And if your son or daughter is good enough to impress the scouts, you could get a scholarship. I was fortunate enough to have 5 offers. My son had 3. He's now has an opportunity to play in the USFL. He's going to be driving to Texas this week. We have to make sure his car is reliable. The tires, new brakes, new O2 sensor, new windshield. That's money. That's why he's doing Uber and Lyft right now, to generate some income. Next, freedom to travel. My daughter has traveled to Washington, D.C., North Carolina. Our son has driven to Florida. He's driven to Texas, driven to Ohio. He's driven to Pennsylvania. He's going to be driving to Memphis, Tennessee for the USFL tryout. It's peace of mind when your son or daughter has a reliable vehicle. And your son or daughter, and also us as parents, we need to prepare. We don't want to give our son and daughter a car that could fail. The worst feeling in the world is when you get a phone call in the middle of the night. Dad, Mom, I'm broke down in Arkansas. Dad, Mom, I'm broke down in Texas. That's the worst feeling in the world. Luckily, we have not had those huge mechanical breakdowns. And that's because we do routine maintenance, oil changes every 3, 5, or 7,000 miles, rotating tires, having good batteries. Now, the Charger is on his second battery. He got it in 2018. He earned an athletic scholarship. So my wife and I got him a car. He earned it. That car has been 99.99% reliable. Our daughter took over my wife's Cherokee. New tires. The first set, I bought used tires for the Cherokee and the Charger. They last 2 years. But over time, when you're traveling in the Midwest to Texas, to Florida, to New Jersey, doing a lot of highway driving, your brakes wear out, your tires wear out. You have to do oil changes. On her exhaust system, on the Cherokee, the flex pipe broke. That was like a $300 part. The original brakes and rotors and pads were on her Cherokee. She's almost at 95,000 miles. That's pretty good. She drives fast, but she doesn't hit the brakes real hard. My son, he's pushing that Charger very hard. I'm not going to tell you how fast he drives, but it's fast. He's went through 2 sets of rotors and brakes. Why? He's going so fast and stopping really hard. Well, a lot of you may or may not know, brakes and particularly rotors. Rotors could be turned to make the surface flat, but if you stop really hard, it's going to warp the rotors. So they're throwaway items. So a brake job costing $350 is now $750, $850, $950. So we decided to get new rotors front and back, new brake pads front and back, and then I'll do another tutorial and show you those brake pads. But those parts wear out quickly. And because this Charger is over 100,000 miles, the transmission cooler, it was the oil cooler, it is made of plastic. If you over tighten your oil filter, you're going to crack the housing. And that housing is water cooled. The 3.4, 3.6 Pentastars have that problem. So our mechanic replaced the plastic with an aluminum housing. That was $750. The car has been very reliable, but once you get over 100,000 miles, you're going to start having problems with the brakes. O2 sensors, radio. But for the most part, his car's been reliable. If he makes this USFL team, pray that he does, he's going to start taking over his own bills. And he has the chance to pay off his college debt, pay off his credit card debt, and the rest of the money he can now stack up. So more on him later. Cost savings. You're going to save yourself money by driving because Ubers and Lyfts, $20, $30. You can spend $100 a week driving from your home, being picked up, to college or to a job. I taught an adult, she was 19. She was driving from the metro area, being picked up out to the suburban area. It was $150 a week because she couldn't drive. I helped her pass her test. We drove around the metro area. It was very fulfilling for me to hear her journey, to hear her story, and to help her pass her test. Flexibility. You're going to have to change your schedule if you want to pick up someone or you're waiting to be picked up. Your mom and dad go to work from 7 in the morning to 3 or 9 to 5. If they have to pick you up earlier or later, that's pressure. They got to get up at 4:30 in the morning, okay? I do lessons. I'm in the Midwest. Reach out to me, and then we'll figure it out. Yes, I'm in the Midwest, and I am a state certified instructor. So flexibility is important. Your mom and dad, once they start working and have kids, their schedule's set. They know that I got to be to work at 9 o'clock. I get up at 7, check on the kids. Mom makes some breakfast, packs the lunch, puts gas in the car, go. I'll see you when I see you. Today, it's a little bit different. You can work from home, but you have to go into the office. There's still a 35, 45, or 55-minute commute, okay? Good morning, Jay. How are you? This would be very inspirational for you. We're talking about getting that license and being flexible. So Jay, she wants to get her license. We're trying to encourage her to seek out sources in her area. There are available sources, and I'm on streaming on my phone right now, so I'm not on my laptop. But we're talking about getting out there and getting a schedule. Let's use Jay. She wants to learn how to drive. Her mom might be able to help her after work. Not before work, that's a little stressful. After work, or maybe a couple of times a week, mom might say, okay, let's go driving. Her mom might say, don't kill me, right? So if your mom or dad or guardians are willing to take time, can you talk about learning how to drive as a young adult? Yes. You have to have a plan. And if your plan means you need a ride to the Secretary of State or a ride to a social service agency to help you, then you need to make arrangements. Uber, Lyft. If you have a job, you can save it, and then you can call an Uber or Lyft. They'll take you there, and then you can be picked up. So I would first call those agencies to see if they have a program available to help someone who might need a car. The biggest thing I think is saving money. We all need to save money. I want to get a Tesla. I want to help young adults learn how to drive. I want to update my social media to reach more people. That takes money, but I can't do it right now because I have other financial responsibilities, car note, insurance, medical, house note, right? But if I can wait till the summer, we can pay off these bills and we can refinance. So I would say the first thing is just having a plan. Next, enhanced safety. Ensuring personal safety, especially on public transportation. Public transportation can be a little bit sketchy, right? You're gonna sit down on the bus, and I'm not attacking public transportation. I used to be there. But you're gonna get tired of waiting at the bus stop. You're gonna get tired of showing up late to work. Then you're going to lose your job. They're gonna say, hey, we really like you, but you're on probation for 90 days. You've been late to work 17 times. We're gonna have to let you go. How to stop being scared of driving? Gradual exposure. Drive in your neighborhood. Drive up and down the block. Make 12 right turns. Make 12 left turns. Practice when you're comfortable. Practice during the early day. Practice early evening. Practice on the weekend. If you don't get out there and get your practice, you're going to be stuck at 21 or 22 or 23 forever. You have to inside say, listen, I'm tired of asking other people. I'm going to do what it takes. If I got to save $3,000 for 2 years, I'm going to save it. If I have to catch 5 buses to go where I need to go, I'm going to do it. You are still under your mom's insurance. Call that doctor. Get on the phone. Do your research. It does take time. And once you get over that initial fear of being scared, you will be okay. And plus, I'm going to keep pushing you. Improved confidence. When you learn to drive, access to health care, that's going to give you confidence. And Jay, once you talk to your doctor and they say, hey, you're good, or go seek out people at your church. They have people in the community. I guarantee, Jay, if you go reach out to your church and tell your pastor, hey, I live in the area, here's my situation, I need some help. I need someone to let me drive around in their car so I can build confidence. And your pastor will say, give me a couple weeks. They're going to find someone who's retired, who has an extra car, and they're going to help you. They may even have insurance and tags already on the car. But with the one caveat, you cannot crash, you cannot have an accident. And I talked to my doctor yesterday about saying, can I drive? Hopefully he said yes. So I would reach out to the church because God works in mysterious ways. Family support, assisting elderly, disability of family members. They need transportation. And a way for you to help and make money, they are seniors who have cars, and maybe you can say, listen, I can take you to your doctor's appointments. I can pick you up. Well, how much is this going to cost? Well, let me take a look. There are people who need to go to doctor's appointments. Being a medical courier, right? Where you're going to different hospitals or clinics, you're picking up specimens, taking them to the hospital. Jay, I'm setting you up, girl. Next, carpooling benefits. Sharing rides, sharing rides with coworkers, friends to save fuel. That does help, but what I find is you're going to be relying on your friend to get up and go to work. Early on after college, my good friend and I, Juan Jones, who's now a deputy sheriff, we used to share rides. I would pick him up, we go work a midnight shift, we get our checks, $1,500, $1,800, $2,000, we have fun, we pay our bills, and then I would drive. And next week he would drive. But we had that summer job that paid a lot of money. But a lot of those jobs are gone. There are other jobs out there, but there are more jobs that are online. Support for rural living. Jay, you're telling me you're in a rural area. So essential for those living in areas with limited public transportation. Jay, you're telling me you're in a rural area. So you got to get that license. You got to get out there. If you're in a rural area, 10 miles outside of town, and you're not alone, seek out people at your church. Talk to them. Hobby development. Participating in hobbies or sports requires transportation, hiking, traveling teams. Improving time management. Save time instead of waiting for the bus or train. Hey, I'll be there in 35 minutes. I drive. Wow. Jay, once you get the process going, you're going to say to yourself, why did I wait so long? What took me so long? Jay, you already had the first step. You say you already have your permit or license. You got to get step 2. You got to get a car. Call your church. Call the surface service programs in your area. Emergency preparedness, driving during natural disasters. Heaven forbid we were in California right now. Jay, if you were in California and your house is on fire, your mom is passed out, you got to get in that car and drive. Hopefully, Jay, you would say the answer is yes. I can drive, and I can save my family. I can save my mom. So many people have lost their homes. Wow. And I have family members out there. Lower stress levels, reduces anxiety by relying on public transportation. I've been there. My dad called it the iron pimp. I'm like, what is that? That's the bus. In the summertime, you're burning up, hot, getting burnt up by the sun, getting skin cancer. In the wintertime, you're freezing, coat and hat on you, you're freezing. You get tired of that. And you're going to say to yourself, I'm done. I'm going to save my money. I don't care how long it takes. I'm going to work 3 jobs. I'm going to work 4 jobs. And then eventually, I'm going to have the money I need to put down a down payment. And that's so special. Cultural experiences, traveling to different areas, seeing different people, going to museums, theaters, festivals. That is always nice to see different people. And then when you talk to them, they have the same story as you. But you have to pull it together and reach that goal. You have to get a car. You have to get a job. Jobs will not just fall in your lap. I had to interview for this job. I had to go through a background check. I have to prove myself every single year. It's competitive in jobs. And if you lie back, you're going to get terminated. They're going to pass you by for promotions. Every single year, I've got a promotion. I've gotten more money on my salary because I have worked hard at this. If I start showing up late, missing days, not working hard, I won't be here. It's competitive, okay? So Jay, you got to step it up. You got to find a job in your area that you can do. So my suggestion, you reach out. Networking opportunities. I believe in networking, right? Attending professional events or meetings. I need to do some of those things this year. What is happening with driver's education in terms of teaching adults? What business opportunities are there? Okay, I have an LLC. When can I effectively leverage my LLC? I have an ESBN number. Okay, I could put together a grant from the state, from the government. Driving is an essential skill that we need to survive. Next, meeting family members. You got to travel. I want to travel down to Atlanta, Georgia, Los Angeles, California, after the fires, Las Vegas. I got to drive. I want to meet my cousins, my aunties, my uncles. Support for night shifts. If I have an opportunity to make double, I'm going to have to work overtime. In my particular job, I'm on salary. I don't work a night shift. But some of you may work a night shift. Hey, can you go on night shifts for 3 weeks? You'll make $10.50 more an hour. Yes. Okay. But you've got to change your sleeping patterns and you've got to prepare for this. Can your car get you there? They're relying on you. Seasonal activities, engaging in skiing, camping, beach trips require a car. So I'm giving you all the reasons why. Career changes, going from a downtown metro area to the suburbs, going from the suburbs into the city. There are advantages and disadvantages of working in the city. One advantage, you're around a large group of people. One disadvantage, you're going to have to pay for parking. Another advantage, there are opportunities because a lot of companies are in that area. Another disadvantage, your car could get damaged or stolen, and you might have to pay higher taxes. In the suburban area, parking is usually free. The odds of your car getting stolen could be substantially less. So you have to weigh all and gas. Volunteerism. I believe when you help other people, good things happen. Being a volunteer, assisting in the driving community, servicing for projects and charities. Access to voting every 4 years. You want to be able to take people to polling places. How fulfilling is that? To really get your voice out there. Pet transportation. We have a dog. Her name is Lola. She's a lab. She's got to get to the vet. She's going to be nervous. You got to put a blanket down in the car, get a harness for her. She's usually nervous. She's a lab. She will bite you. She's very protective. She'll sniff you, and if you're not right, she'll bite you. But if you can trust, she'll love you and lick your face and then bite your ear. So you got to be able to take your pet to the veterinarian. Reduce isolation. A lot of you listening live in an isolated world. I'm very social. I love going out, meeting people, talking to people. I'm planning, hopefully, to go to the North American Auto Show this weekend. My schedule is open. I'm going to have to travel to the Midwest. I'm on a vlog. We're going to talk about cars, hear all of the things EV, and I'm so excited because there are a lot of opportunities out there. So living in an isolated situation can make you depressed. Get out and get some fresh air. Stop locking yourself up, Jay, in that house. Jay, go out and walk. Okay, I'm in 19-degree weather right now. You are down south. Okay, get out and walk. Get some fresh air. Go see some people. Go talk to some people. Right, ride your bike into town. Okay, and then start networking, talking to people. People got to be able to see you. Okay, and I know you're concerned about your eye. Put on some light little sunglasses, okay? And be brave. Be brave, right? Long-term cost savings. Avoid associating when relying on others. I don't want to rely on a ride share. I don't want to rely on my friends, okay? I want to rely on myself. That's the most important thing. And Jay, I think you should put yourself first. Put yourself first. You deserve this. Freedom during retirement and freedom when you're young. Hey, I want to go to Texas. I want to go to Florida during spring break. Okay? When you're like 15 to 25, that's when you go to Florida for spring break. That's when you go to the Cayman Islands. Late 20s, early 30s, you found that nice girl or that nice guy, and you're trying to start a family. Okay? You don't have to worry about, well, I don't have my license. Hubby, can you take me to work and pick me up? Your husband will say yes. Sweetheart, can you take me and pick me up? You're 29 and you don't have a license. I never learned. I have a good job though. You don't want to be that burden. I want to be independent. Okay? Life enrichment. You want to rely on yourself. You want to gain a sense of accomplishment. I have a sense of accomplishment. I teach adults how to drive. I teach teens how to drive. I'm impacting people who want to learn how to drive. I need all of you to look at these videos, find the ones that resonate with you, leave comments. Bye.